Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Can you heal your mental health, heal your brain in just 6 weeks by changing up the food you eat, changing up your diet? I think that you can, and that's what I propose in my new book, Eat to Beat Depression and Anxiety. And because this information is so interesting and it's so new, there's so much data around food and mental health, this new field of nutritional psychiatry. I just wanted to walk everybody through the basics of the plan so you can implement some of these changes in your life or help somebody that you love who's maybe struggling with stress or their mental health in some way with some good food choices. So first, the plan starts in chapter 6 with this idea, eat or heal thyself is the name of that chapter. And I really ask everybody to step back because as a physician and a psychiatrist who's been talking about food for a couple of decades now, so many of us have a set of ideals or pieces of misinformation, or we just really haven't thought enough about our personal food values and our food culture and what we want to do with our eating choices. We've given those away to a lot of different folks, and I think people should reclaim that with the notion that we all can agree on. The most important aspect about nutrition is feeding your mental health, feeding your brain cells and your neurons. And so let's really get that right. And that's what nutritional psychiatry is all about. A lot of us have different feelings and different ideas about food. And the other thing that's different about nutritional psychiatry is as mental health professionals, we really look to accentuate that and let people be their own eaters. So let's get into the plan because there are these food categories that are really important for mental health. Why? Well, they simply have more of the nutrients that are important for how our brain functions. If you're missing things like vitamin B9 or vitamin B12 or long-chain omega-3 fats, research tells us your mental health just doesn't fare as well over the long term. In fact, some of these nutrients, if you're missing them, you'll just frankly get depressed or get demented. So it's really critical to get them in our food and to get them from the most nutrient-dense sources. These are some of the fundamentals, ideas in nutritional psychiatry. I've got some other videos up about some of the other core principles, but let's get into the food categories. So the idea is that every week you're going to add in something by focusing on a food category that's critical for feeding your mental health. So week number 1 is leafy greens. Why are leafy greens so good for your mental health? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but one is that they are nutrient dense. They bring a lot of different, both classic nutrients, vitamins and minerals, as well as phytonutrients, molecules that we find in plants that seem to promote health, and a lot of fiber. So that means a great brain food because you're getting a lot of these nutrients that you really need for mental health, and you're getting a lot of satiation because you're eating a fibrous food. The idea is in week 1, a lot of us, you say leafy greens, you think salads, but I want you to really diversify that and think about more than just kale or more than just, your mixed greens, but how can you add a lot of different varieties of greens and in different ways you incorporate greens into your life. And that's really some of the foundation of how nutritional psychiatry works. Next week, week 2, I really encourage you to think about rainbows. We call them brainbows. These are colorful vegetables. A lot of reasons these are beneficial for our mental health. Looking at different colors means you're looking at different phytonutrients. And there's a lot of new data suggesting that these really help us, and particularly help us in terms of regulating inflammation via the microbiome. All right, the next week, week 3, is seafood. Seafood personally was a very challenging category for me. As I write about in the book, Eat to Beat Depression and Anxiety, I didn't really eat any seafood until I was about 30. And now, years later, I really enjoy seafood. It's a great food category. It's the place that we find the concentrated source of long-chain omega-3 fats and some very important nutrients like selenium and iodine. A lot of the different nutrients on the antidepressant food scale are found in seafood. A lot of us need help with our seafood game. And so a lot of the recipes in Eat to Beat Depression and Anxiety, like the dashi or the wild salmon burger, are really meant to help people incorporate more seafood in their lives. All right, moving into week 4. So now it's been a month of incorporating some brain foods into your life, hopefully more leafy greens and rainbows and seafood, and now nuts, beans, and seeds. And this is everything from one of my favorite recipes in the book, the cacao buckwheat pancakes, because cacao, the basis of chocolate, is a seed from the cacao tree, and a delicious and something that I wasn't incorporating or using in my cooking at home, and now I use all the time. Beans, like white beans, are a great source of potassium, one of those antidepressant nutrients that a lot of people don't know about, but is really, really essential to our health and our mental health. All right, then week 5 is all about fermented foods. If you have been excited about the brain food space, or even if you're new to this space, the microbiome is just a wonderful new concept. The idea is these are all of the organisms that live in our gut. They actually are bacteria and viruses and parasites that naturally live in our colon, and they really help modulate our immune system and modulate inflammation. And that's a huge part of the new thinking of how we want to manage our mental health and take care of our brain. So fermented foods like kefir, kombucha, kimchi, sauerkraut are things that are both in the recipes innate to depression and anxiety, but also things that we should all be thinking about in terms of where they are in our diet. Then rounding the corner in week 6 is the most important nutrient that we have in nutritional psychiatry, and that's love. Because love and connection is really at the center of us feeling good and secure. It's really the best signal of mental health when we're really receiving affection and love and giving that out to our community, to our friend and our loved ones. So that takes effort and takes planning, and you can do a lot of that with food. The idea of going to a farmer's market and meeting some of the people who grow your food, or the idea of having a potluck dinner where friends come over. Right? These are all opportunities where we can use food to deepen our connection with ourselves and with our community. And so that's what week 6 is all about. So there it was. I gave up the book. If you want to grab a copy, I hope you will. But that's the plan in terms of thinking about the next 6 weeks of your life. And not being hard on yourself that you haven't been eating brain food, or that there are all these nutrients and all these rules and all these new scientific concepts. That's not the point. The point is to really encourage all of us, to empower all of us, that there are things in our everyday life, like our diet, that we can do to improve our mental health and take care of our great brains. So I hope this helps you and encourages you over the next 6 weeks. Let me know how it goes. Make sure to subscribe below so you don't miss any of these videos, and share them with anybody who needs a little encouragement about their mental health and what to eat. I'm Dr. Drew Ramsey, and I'll see you in the next video.